buggy theft. As we built the end of Coast, we decided to have the Combine steal the player's buggy. It really doesn't make logical sense, but after watching so many playtests where players developed a strong attachment to their buggy, we wanted to play with that emotional connection. Once we implemented the theft, we had playtesters yelling at the Combine for stealing their ride, something we took as a sign of success. The soldier firing down from the cliff top is simply there to draw the player's eye up, triggering the look target and spawning the dropship with the buggy. Watching it now 20 years later, we're struck by how ridiculous it all is.
You there! Stop where you are! Stay on the rocks! Don't step on the sand, it makes the antlions crazy! Laszlo, don't move! No. Help! Dear God! Poor Laszlo! The finest mind of his generation! To come to such an end.
Finest mind of his generation. Here is another small interstitial scene that ended up working well. The only requirement for this moment was to teach the player to stay off the sand. With prior scenes, we were still focused on simply making them functional. But by the time we got to this one, we were becoming more comfortable and started enjoying the process of putting extra thought into these moments. In doing so, we pushed the characters beyond being mere signposts, creating something more interesting and entertaining. After release, Laszlo went on to develop a larger-than-life following, reminding us how hard it is to predict what players will hold on to.
Floor is lava. Building gameplay around broadly understood concepts like the floor is lava made training it easy. We liked how our physics system allowed for a high degree of creative freedom in how players chose to tackle it. Some built walkways out of many objects, while others focused on using just their two favorite sheets of metal. Some carefully followed the path up in the rocks, concerned about falling, while others moved directly towards the exit, perched on objects just above the sand. Playstyles varied. Some players considered it a failure if they summoned antlions, reloading immediately, while others enjoyed scrambling back up on the rocks to recover. We also liked that it functioned as a navigation puzzle, but could be turned into an arena if players preferred. Some just jumped onto the sand and fought their way to the end.
Sandtrap Hunter. The explosive barrels are provided for players to use against antlions while standing safely within the Thumper's protection. But we're also using this as a hint for the upcoming Antlion Guard encounter, where players often use similar tactics to win the fight. Optional player actions, like launching explosives with a gravity gun, can be forgotten if they aren't used regularly. With the wide range of offensive options we give players, there's no guarantee they've used this ability recently. So here, we're subtly suggesting they bring it back into their toolkit before they face the guard.
Vortigaunt extraction. This arena presented some tricky design problems for a couple reasons. First, the guard is a melee-only enemy, so we couldn't allow the player to reach areas where the guard couldn't follow. We did experiment with a few ranged attacks, but didn't like the results. Its goose-spitting attack, for instance, ended up looking ridiculous. The only non-melee attack that survived was its ability to bash physics objects at the player, but this required objects to be in range, which isn't always guaranteed. The second challenge was ensuring that no matter where the guard dies, the Vortigaunt can reach its corpse. This was essential as the game can't proceed if the Vortigaunt is unable to extract the Bugbait.
The freeman must follow. The freeman will do wise to heed our extraction of the Myrmidon's aromatic pheropods. The process is not entirely hygienic, therefore stand aside. The freeman will have need of these pheropods on the paths ahead. Gather them now.
In rare cases, players could find themselves unable to kill the Antlion guard in this arena. This would happen if they ran out of ammo, or had misused all of the available physics objects, leaving nothing to launch with the gravity gun. To address this, we added a citizen on the mounted turret above the gate as a failsafe, allowing a stuck player to rely on a citizen to kill the guard.
The Antlions won't bother you now, Doc.
I swear by the pheropods myself.
freeman must excuse us. It is rude of us to commune by flux shifting in front of those whose vocal inputs are impaired. Yes, we will vocalize in your auditory language as a matter of courtesy. Unless we wish to say unflattering things about you. Just so.
Get going, Dr. Freeman. Nova Prospekt is just ahead. One man alone wouldn't stand much chance going in there. But a man with a pack of antlions, well, that's a different story.
The freeman honors us by his presence. Follow, freeman.
Bugbait training. This clumsy bugbait training is where we landed, having run out of time, but needing players to understand the tool for Nova Prospekt's design to work. Generally, we aim to add enough flavor and context to training so it doesn't feel like training. It feels like a natural part of discovering something new. Here, though, we didn't quite manage that. As obvious as it may seem, bugbait wasn't something players intuitively grasped. We're well into the game now, so players have plenty of experience dealing with enemies. Before we added any training, the first playtesters who collected bugbait entered the next level and instinctively shot the first antlion they saw, because that had been working up until then. Half-Life tends to encourage a shoot-first, ask-questions-later approach. Similarly, when players reached Nova Prospekt, they didn't think to throw bugbait at the Combine soldiers and instead relied on their usual weapons. So, we needed this training not only to show how bugbait works, but also to demonstrate that antlions would be close to the player without attacking.
The freeman must not delay. Hurl that pheropod into the pit. The freeman has done well. The freeman can also force his antlions to attack specific targets. Observe the training mannequin and mark it well with another pheropod. The freeman again excels in all tasks. Attend well. Apply pressure to your pheropod to signal the antlions in your command to follow you. The freeman shows his excellence in all things. And now this one must bid the freeman farewell. Nova Prospekt lies just beyond. Remember well what you have learned here. The Eli Vance has greatest confidence in you.
Thumper Final Stage. We liked the final stage of Thumpers, where their purpose is inverted. Now, instead of serving as a tool for safety, they act as a blocker for the player's antlion army. However, we probably should have incorporated more thorough Thumper training before this point. While it was acceptable for players to only partially understand Thumpers in the earlier coast levels, the stakes are higher now because players are also trying out bugbait for the first time. Players who don't realize that this first Thumper prevents their antlions from moving forward may misunderstand how bugbait works. If they throw bugbait at soldiers in the first bunker and no antlions arrive, they might conclude that bugbait is unreliable or doesn't work as expected and switch back to using their weapons instead.
Priority warning. Perimeter restrictors disengaged.
Assault on Nova Prospekt. With an infinitely respawning Antlion army on a coastline assaulting a fortified Combine base, it was hard not to try a Normandy-inspired level. Our initial prototype featured trenches leading up to Nova Prospekt, with lethal machine guns forcing the player and their Antlions to stay within the trenches to survive. It was thrilling to have machine gun fire and leaping Antlions constantly passing above the trenches. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it work within our performance budget, and ultimately had to set it aside in favor of a completely different layout. However, the mounted guns remained, as their lethality proved useful in encouraging players to rely on their Antlions.
Alert. Contact status 0 with Land C intercept team. Possible anti-system 1 reinfection. All Nova Prospekt stabilization delegates move to hard point.
Service just made your promotion active.
Nova Prospekt Stabilization Force, Directive 2. Engage reserve. Contain exigent incursion.
Nova Prospekt Yard. The combat throughout the Nova Prospekt Yard was largely inspired by our early observations of antlions fighting Combine soldiers. The antlions' high mobility and melee attacks paired well with the soldiers' range lethality and vulnerability up close. Antlions look great under fire, with particle effects flying everywhere, and when they finally reach a soldier, the resulting ragdoll effect is incredibly satisfying.
Magic wall. Like many of our combat arenas, we needed a gate of some kind to prevent players from moving on before they finished this fight. Unfortunately, we were out of time and had to move on to the train station, so we ended up with this bit of magical bullshit. A wall that just explodes after the second gunship is defeated, revealing the way forward. We reassured ourselves that most players wouldn't notice, as they'd be busy fighting the gunships, and our playtesting had shown that generally they all finished the fight before they reached this point. With enough explosions throughout the arena, the destroyed, burning wall felt pretty natural, so we threw in a couple of simple gas puzzles on the other side to justify it. But no, we're not exactly proud of it.
Priority alert. Nova Prospekt oxygen breach. Perimeter communication status 0. Internal stabilization team. Deploy sterilizer in suspected infection blocks A5, A7,